Happy holidays and welcome to the Lindbergh Center at Hopkins High School for semifinal action in the Dick's Sporting Goods Holiday Classic Girls Basketball Tournament. It's the Anoka Tornadoes taking on the Hopkins Royals. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, we don't have to really look back too far to find out how these teams might match up. They played 20 days ago. Anoka had a halftime lead before Hopkins rallied to win by 11, so we'll see what adjustments they've made since.
Well, I was looking at that too, and I think that's going to really help Anoka. There's a myth about coming here to face Hopkins, who's really been the powerhouse in the state at their building. I think that game's going to really help Anoka as they come in here. It's not their first time here. And like you mentioned, Jay, they were up 8 at halftime. They had a nice 1-2-2 zone defense, and Hopkins could not figure it out. Second half, of course, was a totally different story. Hopkins came out, applied their usual pressure, and really turned it on, winning by 11. But I think that experience of that game is really going to come in here, and Anoka's got nothing to lose. They've been here and done that, so the nerves should be off. I expect a really good ball game today.
Anoka's girls basketball program has really rebounded after some tough years. They've just gotten better and better. And even though they're 3-3, to me that record's deceiving. This is a team that's got 5 girls who are all going to go play college basketball next year at some level.
Well, 3-3, and you talk, one of those losses was to this Hopkins club. The other loss to Park Center, who's got a very dynamite girls basketball team. And the Northwest Suburban arguably is the deepest conference in all of the state for girls basketball. So don't let that record fool you. They got a couple of girls that are going to be playing college next year. They got a lot of depth. I expect them to be right there today, Jay.
Hopkins kind of stopped the presses, had 2 losses in a row earlier in this year, but if you need to know how they've rebounded, ask Centennial, because they destroyed a very good Cougars team.
Well, 2 things. I thought it was a misprint when I saw back-to-back home losses for Hopkins girls basketball. I think I read somewhere it was like 9 years since that had happened. And of course they got it together. I'm sure they had a couple of fun practices, and against a very good Centennial team, which we've seen, and they absolutely crushed them. So they got it picked up here. You don't see 2 early losses too often for Hopkins.
Let's talk about key players to keep an eye on in our game this afternoon. Obviously a lot of talent for both teams, but we've picked out a couple. Claire Lundberg is a player for Anoka that can really fill it up.
She is really fun to watch. Number one, she's a great shooter. She's got range out to about 25 feet. She's got the green light too, Jay. The other thing about her, she's really athletic. She's a little skinny, but she's about 6'2" and long and very athletic. So her athleticism is going to be matched here against arguably maybe the most athletic team in the state.
And she'll be headed to Seton Hall to play next year. And for Hopkins, a very versatile deep team. Ashley Batesville has had a very good start to the season for this Royals club.
Well, you can pick about 1 of 7 girls to highlight. You know, they got about 6 or 7 girls that'll have a chance to play Division I. But Ashley does a little bit of everything. She's their leading scorer, I think over 13 points, over 6 rebounds, over 2 steals. She kind of does it all. Very athletic, very tough. She kind of is the engine that gets this team running. So I expect her to have a very good game here today.
All right, it's the rematch, the Tornadoes and the Royals. The winner will get Minnetonka in the championship game here of this Dick's Sporting Goods Holiday Classic. Girls basketball coming up next here on 12 Sports. Stay with us.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
And welcome back here to the Lindbergh Center, a Friday afternoon contest here in the semis, and a really good tournament, good crop of teams here, and the Tornadoes and the Royals getting set to tip off in this one. And we'll look at our starting lineups for these 2 teams. Scott Antol, first year as the head coach for the Tornadoes, sends out this lineup: Samantha Brennan, Kira Fredenberg, Claire Lundberg, Jordan Meyer, and Ashley Bray. A team with some pretty good size. Meyer goes 6'2" up front for them, and Fredenberg and Lundberg also in the 6-foot range. And for Hopkins and Coach Brian Cosgriff, Nia Holly, Ashley Bates, TT Starks, who's missed some time with injury but is back in the lineup now, Mariah Livingston, and their one true post player in the starting group, Molly O'Toole, for the Royals. And got Jazz Martin, their outstanding freshman, has been battling a little bit of an injury, and now today battling a little bit of sickness. She's a tremendous talent, and we expect to see her some today, but maybe not as much as we might have on a normal day.
Well, two things that stand out. One, it seems like there's been an O'Toole in the Hopkins girls basketball program for the last 35 years. You know, but I was just talking to Champlain Park head coach Jake Cuppy. He was telling me a little bit about the recruiting. He said, you know, obviously Hopkins has 6 or 7 girls getting pretty high major looks. University of Louisville has a representative here, and also Maryland, to take a look at TT Starks and Jazz Martin if she's good enough to play today. So pretty fun game, and like we talked about in the pregame, Jay, I expect Anoka to not be intimidated. They've been here. They played on this building. You know, this is their second time in the last month they played against Hopkins. Yeah, had the lead at halftime, so you know that they've been here. So some of those nerves that maybe are associated with playing against, you know, Hopkins girls team, I expect to be dissipated. I expect this to be a very good contest today.
One thing about the Lindbergh Center is it is definitely an intimidating place to play, but it is a little bit wide open. I don't think you feel quite as claustrophobic against their pressure as you might in some of the smaller, older gyms.
Or especially when they have the bleachers on both sides, it can kind of cave in. This is pretty open today. And that's going to be the key. Anytime you play Hopkins, can you handle their pressure, their defensive pressure? I read something too, Jay. They lead the state in steals. So if you can handle their pressure and, of course, get them to turn it over as well. But the key is going to be Anoka and their ability to put the ball in the basket.
So look at Scott Antle. He was at Centennial for a long time and then was an assistant with Anoka last year, and now taking over as the Tornadoes head coach. Hopkins, that tough man-to-man near steal there for Starks. Now down to the baseline, and the shot up won't go. Second opportunity with it won't go either for Bray. They'll get another crack from the other side on a 3-ball put up there by Brannon. And it will be Hopkins basketball ultimately. And there's a look at Brian Cosgriff, the Royals coach. Done tremendous record here at Hopkins. Just 3 state titles in a row the last 3 years.
You wonder who's got a better record, him or Coach Ken Novak on the boys' side. That would be an interesting statistic. You know, but one thing we saw there, Anoka, they got to handle the pressure. When you're playing Hopkins, you got to go backdoor, you got to ball fakes, things like that, because this team is so aggressive defensive. As Jay gets in on the action right there. Look at the assist. You know, and Hopkins just was relentless. They never let up defensively. Offensively, they're attacking the basket. They're the most athletic team in the state as well. So you got to work hard, keep them in front of you, keep them off the glass, box out. If you do all that, you might have a shot.
Pull-up jumper good for the Royals. And a drive to the hoop. Going to be just an offensive foul or just out of bounds.
Just out of bounds.
Looks like, yeah.
Nice crossover move there. LaJana Morris. You know, you don't hear too much about her, but she's very capable of putting up big numbers as well. And that was a beautiful right to left crossover into a mid-range jump shot.
Drive to the hoop. Bates coming up with the rebound, and then is going to end up called for a travel.
Nice move there by Bates going to get that offensive rebound. Just came down on it. Obviously, got to get rid of that ball before your feet move. You know, and this is a trick right here, just getting the ball in bounds, number one. You have to have, you know, knowing you're playing Hopkins, you have to be really sound. Press break, getting someone open. You know they're going to be traps and double teams. Ball fake, ball fake. These girls play the passing lanes better than any team in the state. They have for years.
Lundberg forced back out. A drive to the hoop, and going to be an offensive foul as Kira Fredenberg caught up in traffic.
Yeah, Kira Fredenberg going to Concordia St. Paul next year. She's averaging double figures to over 12 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, over 3 steals. So very active player. You like that aggressiveness right there going to the basket. That's the old jump stop. You got to come to a jump stop.
Pass nearly taken there, but the Royals able to get it back. Still just a 2-0 score.
And you see Anoka. They're the ones getting the hands up in the passing lanes too. Very nice.
Fredenberg trying to shovel it over and taken away by Bates. Right back the other way. This is Nia Hawley, I believe, going to the hoop wearing 43, not for what she's listed. And Anoka gets a run out here, and Fredenberg will have an easy 2, and they are finally on the board.
Well, that's nice. You get to score like Fredenberg in the game, get an easy basket. And you see Anoka playing a 2-3 zone. What they're doing, too, is they're leaking someone out. You can see a nice big rebound right there by Jordan Meyer. She throws it ahead to Ashley Bray, who looks ahead, easy basket. So Anoka's good. Sometimes the best way to beat good teams like this is to take their strength, which is usually transition, and give them a little taste of their own medicine. And Anoka doing a nice job coming out in a 2-3 zone to slow up this Hopkins offense. I like it.
O'Toole coming out now, Livingston. O'Toole trying to go between a double team and ripped away from her there by Fredenberg. Now layup try won't go. Lundberg there for the rebound, and she misses. Gets another crack at it, misses. And Livingston, or check that, Starks out of there with it. And then her pass right into the shin of Bates.
Well, even though Claire Lundberg missed that down there, you saw her athleticism. She was way up there getting that offensive rebound. And here's another open look, transition look for Anoka.
Oh, Holly, how's that for recovering? Getting back and erasing that shot.
Is she athletic at all?
Wow, that one looked like it was going to be an easy 2.
And the thing with Anoka you got to be encouraged about is they're doing a nice job of getting good looks. They're a great job flashing to the middle. Jordan Meyer, and she has a nice little touch. Knocks down the 7-footer.
Nice assist by Bray on that one as well.
Yep.
And here's going to be a foul on the Tornadoes trying to jump into the passing lane as Fredenberg will be whistled for it. Be her first, team second.
Well, Ashley Bray averages just under 8 points a game. Of course, they have Lundberg at 15, Fredenberg at over 12, Sam Brennan at 10. So they got nice balance here. Besides just Lundberg and Fredenberg, they got a couple of girls that can put up double figures.
Short jumper won't go there. Rebound grab by Jordan Meyer. And again, they look long down court, and another big block. This time Livingston getting a piece of it.
Well, that's where when you're playing against superior athletes, sometimes you got to be smart. You got to do shot fakes. That's the old Top Gun move there, Jay. You hit the brakes, let the defender fly right by. You get an easy layup. Ball fakes, pass fakes, shot fakes, all those kinds of stuff work really good against an aggressive Hopkins team.
Cassidy Sarazin in, misses the jumper there. Rebound by Holly coming up court. Around the horn, Starks walked.
And maybe more so than in other years too, Jay, is this Hopkins team having those 2 early losses. I mean, it shows they're human this year. They're, especially at home, they can be beat. I think there's been after a couple of undefeated seasons, almost like there's no hope whatsoever. This team can be beat if you handle their pressure and play.
Scoop layup wouldn't go for Brannon. Here come the Royals back the other way. Holly shoveling it over. Layup good for Starks. 4-4.
What a beautiful, unselfish pass right there. Nice little no-look, right underhand scoop. And that's really something. When you have Nia Holly, 6 foot, leading the break like that, unselfish. Hopkins, as talented as these girls are, they always have played really unselfish.
Lundberg pull-up jumper won't go. Starks gets up for the rebound, swinging it ahead. Holly trying to run it down, but couldn't quite do it. And we will have a sub coming in now for the Tornadoes, Naomi Torgerson, number 23. It's had so much activity, and then you look up and it's only 4-4. It's been a lot of good defense and, a few little sluggish offense, too, at times.
A lot of jelly and no toast, Jay. A lot of action, a lot of turnovers. In Hopkins, too, they get you have a tendency to start playing really fast. You want to get up and down with them. If you're Anoka, you want to control this pace as best you can. And the double team's coming. When you're bringing the ball up, you got to have your head up.
Bates to steal. Livingston had her shot swatted by Meyer.
Lundberg forced to back off here on the baseline. Meyer coming up to get it, but the pass gets away. Livingston trying to struggle to control it here. Yeah, it looks like a 1-3-1 maybe now for Anoka. Drive and dish, reverse layup by Holly, wouldn't drop. To the middle, that one is swatted away by Holly.
Well, you could just see the athleticism here by Hopkins. I mean, they're getting every other shot blocked.
The good news for Anoka, though, is that the Royals aren't doing really any better at the offensive end either.
Oh, nice pass there. Nice. That is great offense. You get the ball down low into Jordan Meyer. She's 6'2", one of the few girls with the length and the height to really battle this athletic Hopkins defense. The other thing, too, Jay, Hopkins only getting 4 points. After a made basket, you know, it allows them to set up their press. And if you can keep them from getting easy buckets where they're setting their press up waiting for you, instead these missed baskets, Anoka done a nice job of really pushing the ball, you know, not allowing Hopkins to get that pressure on him in the front court.
Yeah, it's really difficult, even if you have a real veteran team, to get into press, you know, after a not out of an out-of-bounds situation. It's just too tough to do. And a few times they've tried and they've gotten balls thrown over their head.
And I think Anoka's got to continue to throw the ball down court, see if they can throw it over the defense. And the other thing, too, is it's going to come down to little things to beat a team like Hopkins. Free throws, loose balls, effort plays, those kinds of things. Anoka's really got to be sharp today.
And Meyer not able to hit. Kasia Wubbin, number 24, in handling it now, and Jazz Martin, number 10, is reported in as well for Hopkins. Wubbin getting it over. Here's Liz Bulver, who also checked in, and she is hit on the arm as she caught that one and shot it from near the free throw line. And she'll head to the free throw line here for the Royals.
Well, not bad when you can bring a 6'1" sophomore off the bench who's almost averaging 10 points and over 8 rebounds a game, too. So just the depth of this Hopkins team. You can take 5 girls off and bring in 5 other Division I players on your bench. So their depth, you can see why they're in great shape and they can just wear opponents down.
You know, and I think it really, ultimately for some of the girls that want to play college basketball, I think it helps them to not just be the star from day one in their program all the way, because that's not going to be how it is in college. You're going to have to learn to maybe come off the bench initially, or not play as much or get as many shots as you want to every night.
Well, and you have to earn it. You have to earn your time. You know, you'll see kids that are committed to high Division I programs. They're the 7th girl off the bench. So you want to play here, you got to earn it. You got to earn it in games. You got to earn it every day in practice. And, you know, that's another thing. You know, I get so tired of hearing, well, you know, every girl just transfers into Hopkins. You know, Coach Cosgrove does a great job of creating competition in practice, competition in scrimmages in the summertime. These girls compete. That's what they do. When they get to games, they're easier than their practices are, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have liked to have been in those meetings or practices right after the 2 losses in a row.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Oh, great pass.
Little shovel over there as Buggs gave it up, and the layup good for Torgerson.
That was a beautiful pass. And, you know, that's what you got to do. You play unselfish. You get into the heart of their defense and be unselfish. Find the open girl. This team is so relentless on double teaming and trapping you. There's someone open. If you can be strong with the ball and get it to the open girl, you can score.
Bulver scoring at the other end for Hopkins, and then a jumper missed, and we get a tie-up. Held ball will go Anoka's way, and Livingston back in for Hopkins, but we've got, looks like Meyer a little shaken up. And she went to the court hard there.
Yeah, it looked like she bumped knees with her own teammate going for that loose ball. You love the effort there, but that can hurt. Bumping those knees, Jay, that's one of those that just for about 2 minutes, nothing hurts worse. Usually it subsides.
Abby Slater, number 44, coming into the game here for Anoka. 8-6 Hopkins lead here. Just about 7 minutes into the contest. A long one put up from the wing, and that one is way short there from Fredenberg. And then we get a foul on the way back up court going against the Tornadoes as Torgerson reaching in.
Well, that was a tough shot there for Frenberg. And she's a great shooter. You could see Hopkins having an ultimate alert on where she is. Just show that ball, show the shot fake there, have the defender go right by you. See if you could get a shot fake, one dribble for an open pull-up jumper.
Good job by Torgerson, got a piece of that pass, and then it hit Bulver's hand. So Anoka, as much as we're talking about the defense Hopkins plays, Anoka has really been in the passing lanes a lot and really forced Hopkins to do things they don't want to do too.
Well, and of course, I don't know if underrated is the word because she got quite a bit of attention, but Nia Coffey last year was so great. And what was underrated, Jay, is that at any time Hopkins could be discombobulated, be in a kind of a funk. You could give her the ball and she could just score at will from anywhere on the floor. As great as this team is, they don't have that player that can necessarily, with the ball, create a shot at any time like that. So, they're predicated more on good teamwork, good ball movement, and that sort of thing.
And a drive to the hoop. No, going to be a travel. As a little bit out of control there was Wubbin, and ends up being called for the walk. The other thing about Coffey, too, that was probably a little bit overlooked is I consider her one of the best shot blockers I've ever seen in our state in girls basketball.
Like that turnover right there, you just can't do that against Hopkins. Torgerson, picks her dribble up, throws a loft pass like that. These guys are like sharks. They smell blood in the water. That ball's in the air.
Great rotation around to Bulver, no good. O'Toole's shot, no good. And then it's knocked out off of Hopkins. I'm not too sure why Bulver didn't get a chance at the free throw line there. Looked like a lot of contact on that initial try, but it's going to be that kind of game. You got to play through those.
You know what I mean for Anoka, Jay? They got to have ball fakes, be strong in your passes. You can't anticipate, you can't look your pass there. You got to be creative. Or, if you give Hopkins 20, 30 extra possessions via turnovers, they're too good offensively. They're going to capitalize on them. So
speaking of turnovers, Starks with the steal, misses again, goes up one more time, no good. Slater trying to get it inside. Holly gets a piece of that one.
What they do is they get you playing so fast that you catch the ball, it almost feels like a hot potato. You got to quick get rid of it. Catch the ball, triple threat position, look and see what's going on. Have a purpose with every pass, with every shot fake, with everything you do. Don't just do it to do it. Have a purpose for it. Catch the ball, see what's going on, and then make a good decision.
Going to be a 5-second call there as Lundberg was closely guarded. At the end, she was just starting to make some progress toward the hoop, but by that time the whistle had sounded.
That was a quick 5 seconds, Jay. You catch the ball, and then you go into your dribble. You get a new 5-second count. I don't think the referee actually reset that count. Oh, beautiful set play right there. That was a back screen along the baseline. They just threw it up, and Nia Holly went up and got it. Beautiful set play right there by Hopkins.
4-point lead now for the Royals in this low-scoring first half. There's O'Toole with the steal. See if she can finish the break. O'Toole going all the way and gets the layup. And a timeout taken by Anoka as Coach Antle sees his team struggle to keep possessions alive here.
Well, he's not upset with their effort. Anoka's had great effort. But again, look at this pass that was intercepted. It was thrown high in the air, and Molly O'Toole, a 6-foot senior, showed some speed there. She actually broke away from the pack, and nice layup. And that's the thing. You put that ball in the air like that. These girls are trained and taught every day in practice to go get that ball. So you got to be sharper with your passes if you're Anoka.
So look at the bracket for this one as the Tornadoes beating Forest Lake in the first round. Hopkins destroyed Prior Lake, and then Minnetonka and Kennedy met in a great semi that you saw on 12 Sports. So the Skippers into the final against either the Tornadoes or the Royals here. Anoka basketball in the backcourt, and again Hopkins coming with pressure.
Well, we talked to Minnetonka head coach. In Minnetonka playing Hopkins, for obviously they play in the Lake Conference, and to play again in this tournament too, it just gives them more experience. Coach Dasovich said, anytime we can have success in this building, we'll take a great, beautiful move right there. Just not able to finish for Nia Holly.
Then Holly reached in, and good call there as she banged into the dribbler Brannon hard enough to affect the outcome of that play. I think the official, if it was just incidental, would have been willing to let it go, but it knocked the ball free.
I mean, she didn't finish that, but how about those moves? Almost like being on a pogo stick. Neil Holly stops and able to elevate really well. Just was not able to finish it. You know, and this is the question for Anoka is, you know, are they going to be able to score points against Hopkins?
Baseline drive, pretty good one, but Bray could not finish it. O'Toole looking across, trying to go to Holly, but the pass is deflected. And now Martin will come back in. She just was in very briefly before, and again, she's not feeling well, so she is a freshman, and from what I'm hearing, equally highly sought in basketball and volleyball.
Well, you can see 6'3" as a 9th grader, probably going to grow even more.
We get a foul call against Hopkins. Martin will pick it up. Illegal screen, it looked like.
Well, what Hopkins does on that play is they try to create space and open up the middle of the lane, and then they send a guard from the top of the key. They worked earlier in the game, and they called Jazz Martin for an illegal screen. You cannot clear people out of there. And those are the kind of turnovers right there, Jay, that, you know, you just can't have. You know, there's going to be so many forced turnovers that you can't afford to have those unforced ones when you're playing against Hopkins.
Buggs had that one slip through her hands, and she will check out. You know, it's interesting, and you're making great points, and I'm always thinking the players are saying easier said than done against Hopkins, though. They know a lot of these things, but it's just harder than they're used to execute against a team that's so quick. There's a bomb from the corner, won't go for Fredenberg. Second try, and now knocked out of bounds. It will be Anoka maintaining possession.
Well, half of it too, Jay, is that if you're just not intimidated, I mean, these girls, everyone puts their pants on the same way. Everyone laces their shoes up the same way. There's nothing special or different about these girls. Hopkins plays really hard. They might be a little bit more talented, but a lot of it just comes down to execution and fundamentals.
Livingston steals the pass and takes it all away for the layup, and Hopkins opening up its biggest lead of the night here, 14-6.
You know, this is where, you know, with Kyra Fredrickson, you gotta have your two scorers really take over here and get a basket for you. You know, that pass right there, you get caught leaving your feet, so you got to throw it up. There's no ball fakes. Those are things that are fixable. Those are things that you can do. That's not a matter of talent. That's just, you know, that pass right there. Put a little bit more on it. Ball fake, back door. You got to be creative when you're playing against the best, because very rarely will Hopkins play a good game and lose. You know what I mean? They're just too talented. So how do you counteract that? You do the little things, and you do them really well.
I always feel like, too, you have to try and, if somebody's going to be ultra-aggressive defensively, you have to use that against them.
Absolutely. You know, and those are shots that Fredenberg normally knocks down. Those are good shots for her.
Royals looking to run it back the other way. Here comes Wubb into the hoop, and a body foul there. She'll go to the line.
You know, the other thing Hopkins does, too, and they did it really well last year, too, is I don't think any team in the state, in Bloomington Kennedy with Keisha Bell can do it as well, but they take a missed shot and turn it into a fast break, either basket or a foul opportunity, quicker than anyone else in the state. Transition defense is really, really big against these guys. But it's like playing, Eden Prairie in football. You can't have holding, you can't have turn. You got to almost be perfect to beat these teams.
Well, but nails a pair of free throws. The lead is 10. Anoka has not scored for an awful long time.
Yep.
I don't think they want to see their shooting percentage. And then they just turn and sail a pass into the Hopkins bench there as some pressure was applied, and unable to get a good one away was Samantha Adamich.
You know, I like what Anoka did to start the game, Jay. They really threw the ball down court. They were able to almost throw the ball over the defense. You know, and they got to look to continue to do that. You throw the ball long, you get the ball in the middle of the court where you can't get trapped, and some of that pressure can be alleviated off of you a little bit.
Royals off the inbound. Oh, and Bulver cutting free and gets the layup.
Nice.
I thought for a second they weren't going to see her. She was wide open. Anoka, probably their biggest lapse of the game defensively on that play right there. And Martin easily denying that Fredenberg shot.
When you talk about volleyball, that looked like a spike block shot right there. Nice play. Hopkins, that's the second or third basket they've gotten underneath out of bounds set plays.
Fredenberg looking to trigger it in, and now Anoka's turn to get a pretty good look in the lane, and they will get one to go, and they break the deadlock there. Torgerson able to sink the hoop. They're down by 10.
Well, nice patience. That looked like it was going to maybe, a three-point answer by Ashley Bates, and she does it all. She can score inside. She can score outside. She is their leading scorer at just under 15 points a game, but, Anoka had a nice out-of-bounds play, too.
Fredenberg blocked by Bulver. Fredenberg's really kind of forcing it now. She's taking some that are not really there. Bates to the baseline, bounces off the defender, no good. Good rebound in traffic there, grabbed by Adamich. Tornadoes looking to push it up. And speaking of forced shots, Fredenberg, I wouldn't take that one in a game of horse even.
Well, Fredenberg's going to take a seat. She's frustrated, and that's what this Hopkins defense, they do to you. That's the other thing is they score at such a high pace. You can see them, Anoka down early, so then when you are the leader or the leading scorer, you start thinking, hey, I got to get it back. I got to get it quickly. You start forcing stuff. You take bad shots, and all that does is just keep compounding the fact that you're giving up baskets and points.
Well, Fredenberg's only scored 2 and Lundberg 0. That's not a typical night for those two. No. Tornadoes looking to run it back here. Slater going to the hoop with the left hand, wouldn't drop. O'Toole the rebound.
That didn't go in, Jay, but I love what they did there. They attacked, they were aggressive and confident, and even though they didn't make that, as you can see, like I talked about earlier, Ashley Bates, Hopkins turns a miss into a basket for themselves quicker than anyone in the state, but I like the aggressiveness of Anoka on that prior possession.
O'Toole the steal. Here comes Bulver to the hoop. Too strong with that. Comes right back. Bates will get the layup, and all of a sudden she gets on fire here with 7 quick points. The three-pointer and then a couple of strong moves inside. Bates showing good strength. Here's another look at it as Bulver couldn't quite get it to go, but Bates, right place, right time.
Yeah, and Bulver, who's been really good here today so far, nice take there, and she actually got a hand and tipped that over to Bates. And when you're a scorer, the ball always seems to find you. You seem to always be in the right spot at the right time, and she's got off to a quick start. And this is the danger of playing Hopkins, is you get in this frantic pace. You can't keep up. A couple of missed opportunities and then a couple of quick transition points, and all of a sudden it's a 15-point game or 17-point game.
I think a lot of teams that play the Royals these last few years, you go for a while and you think, hey, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. And then there's this little stretch and you look up and go, oh, I can't believe we're down 17 or 20 or whatever.
Well, here's why I think they're able to do it, Jay. Have you been to one of their practices?
Oh, yeah.
They run. I mean, they condition and they run and they run, and the girls hate it, and they get mad at Coach Cosgriff for doing it. But you can see that they just wear you out. It's a thoroughbred against people that no matter how hard you practice, you don't practice like they do, and you don't practice against this intensity. And as much, like you were saying, as much as you maybe prepare for it when you're in it, it's a lot different. And even if you play with them for half, a lot of times they would have close scores at half, and then it would just be just too much, and the other team would wear down.
Tried to go over the top of that zone, but Bulver with the steal there for the Royals. 5 minutes to go now in this first half. It's all Hopkins. Starks, a nice shot fake, and then Livingston knifing her way to the hoop, but off target with the shot. And it's knocked out of bounds by Hopkins. I'm going to say Anoka, no easy outlet passes there either. They're converging.
You know how you beat that, Jay? They're getting a rebound, and 4 Hopkins players are right there. You got to get rid of it quick and then attack. Make Hopkins pay for hanging around the ball like that. Nice little switch up here by Hopkins going into a 2-3 zone defense.
And Bates almost had the steal. It got through her hands, though, and it'll stay with Anoka. But there's no doubt that they were a little unsure of what they want to do against this particular defense also.
You can't be tentative against it. You got to attack it. There's openings in every zone. You got to figure out where that opening is and attack it. Nice. That's a beautiful move.
Great drive to the hoop, and Adamich finishing. That's their 8th or 9th girl in this game to come in with that kind of strong move. People watching are probably thinking, wow, Anoka's not that good, but really they are. They've had games and they have a lot of players.
Well, nice movement right there. A dribble handoff. A beautiful hesitation by Adamich. And, against a man-to-man defense that plays high pressure like that, a lot of ball pressure, there's openings there. You just got to be strong with the ball, get past that initial move, and you can get to the basket.
Better job of spacing on that one, too, for Anoka that allowed her a little room to make that move.
Yep.
Baseline step-back jumper won't go for O'Toole, but they get it back. Starks with it at the top here. Hopkins by 15. Livingston. Baseline now. Bates. Oh, a strong move. And she'll get the hoop and one. Able to rise up and finish in traffic.
Well, do you just see the difference in flow on Hopkins' side of the ball here in offense? A couple of nice passes. You make the defense move back and forth. And then you had T.T. Starks, a nice pass to Bates on the baseline, and that was really a strong finish right there. And she's not very tall, Bates is. She's only 5'8", only a sophomore, but she's got a little bounce in her step and very powerful finisher.
Cross-court pass, and that one taken away by Livingston. Livingston, shoved out of bounds there. And a little frustration, I think, by the Tornadoes as Torgerson will be called for the foul, and Livingston will head to the free throw line. Got to be, as tempting as it is to try and, go over the top of that defense, these long passes are just not getting there for the most part.
Yeah, and what I'd like to see, Jay, is I'd like to just see one Anoka player just ball fake, see the girl fly, and then pass. There's lanes that are open here. You got to know that that's what the strength of this Hopkins team is playing those passing lanes. How do you combat that? You got to have ball strikes, ball fakes, back doors, shot fakes, all things like that to counteract, the aggressive nature of this Hopkins defense.
Bates gets a piece of that. Starks to Bates, fouled and one. That time they didn't even get her hard enough to throw her off much on that shot.
Yeah, and again, it starts on defense here. And a beautiful, unselfish play by T.T. Stark. She throws it up, and Bates, she's just showing with her 5'8", her strength. If you're going to foul her, you really got to take her arm away because she is a great finisher at the basket. We must know what we're talking about, Jay. We highlighted her to start the game, and she's done nothing to disappoint.
O'Toole gets the rebound and put back with the left hand after the missed free throw. And I like the way Bates, the people you can finish those, yes, it takes strength, but she absorbs the contact first and then shoots. Because if you get hit while you're shooting, it's pretty tough to finish it. Here's a drive all the way, and it will roll and drop for T.T. Starks.
We don't have a statistician here, Jay, but I bet that's got to be about the 18th turnover. Make that the 19th. I mean, they're just throwing it to wherever. Look at that athleticism, a nice little scoop, and you can see why T.T. Starks is getting looks at the highest level. She took a turnover, nice steal on one end, finished it coast to coast. That's the other thing that stands out about Hopkins is all their girls can take a steal. Even, Molly O'Toole, the center, can take it and score in just a hurry.
O'Toole had that one blocked and blocked again. Good, tough defense, but then Bulver able to finish.
And that's deflating. You get 2 or 3 great blocks, and they still come out of it with a basket. Yeah, that's what they do. You feel like you just can't win against this Hopkins team. And I've been really impressed, Jay, with Liz Bulver since she's come in.
Holly trying to track that down. Yeah, she's got all the skills for a good post player, good baseline type player.
Yeah, she's 6'1", only a sophomore, so I hate to break it to the rest of the Lake Conference, but Hopkins may be good for another few years too.
There's Bulver up with the steal. And she is fouled on the play. Was going to be a very difficult shot, but Buggs was aggressive to the point where she got a piece of the arm on the way up.
And again, that was created off a turnover, a bad pass out of bounds. The Anoka team has just been very careless with their passes so far. When they've been aggressive and maintained dribbles to the basket, they've gotten looks. They just have been careless with taking care of the basketball, Jay, and Hopkins has really done a nice job of converting those into points on the other end.
Bulver's free throw goes in and out. Lundberg back out. Fredenberg will launch a 3 from the top, and she hits. First made 3 of the game for their team.
Yeah, but that's big, and that's what she can do, and she can get hot and put up points in a hurry.
Nice pass down low. Martin converting on the assist from Starks.
Well, that's the second time Starks has done a nice job getting the ball on the baseline. Hopkins attacking that Anoka defense along the baseline. We got Jazz Martin, and you got
Fredenberg loses the dribble, and it is out of bounds. She felt she was bumped a little bit, but not enough to draw a call there. And you can see the frustration with the Tornadoes. I mean, they're coming to the bench, and the head coach or one of the assistants will talk to them, and you can just see the frustration. They know that they're making poor passes or poor choices with the ball sometimes, but just struggling to kind of get out of that mentality right now.
Well, and I'm shocked, and here's why. I'm not shocked that Hopkins is playing well and doing that, but I could understand if this was Anoka's maybe first time in this atmosphere. But the fact that they had played, 3 weeks earlier and played them really well and pretty close, I would have thought all the pressure, all the nervousness would have been gone. And it almost seems like they were more prepared in that first round of the match too. But Anoka, they have 5 seniors as well on this team. So this is it's not like they're freshmen and sophomores and this is their first varsity experience. They're experienced, and they're used to playing good teams. Northwest Suburban, one of the deepest girls basketball conferences in the state, so they've played against really high talent. So I'm a little surprised at the way they've come out. Not that they're down, but the way it happened, Jay, with lots of turnovers and almost carelessness on offense.
Yeah, I think you could live with it a lot more if you were getting okay shots and just missing them,
Right,
but they're
right.
just not even getting shots most of the time.
Yep, no, absolutely.
Martin, a rebound, gets the putback.
I mean, and that just looks too easy. And Hopkins, hats off to Hopkins. We talked as if it's all Anoka's fault. I mean, a lot of this is the way that Hopkins is playing. They got such balance between guard skills and shooters, and then their big girls, and the way they attack the rebound, their athleticism, and you can see right there, Kira Fredenberg getting frustrated, trying to force the action, which you certainly appreciate that effort. She's fortunate to get fouled on that play.
Here's Lundberg with the drive. Had it chopped away there by Bates, who might have gotten a little bit of arm with that one too, it looked like, but it'll be Tornadoes basketball on the baseline.
Well, tornado is a more accurate way to describe how Hopkins plays on defense. Just a whirlwind of activity. And there's a beautiful move. Kira Friedenberg. We saw her hit that 3 a few plays ago too, and there she had a nice aggressive move to the basket.
Jumper won't drop there. Brannon up for the rebound, in a little trouble here, but got it away. Now they'll look to attack. Lundberg jump stop and scores it.
And this is how Anoka started the game, throwing the ball up ahead like that. This is capable, and it's funny, Jay, sometimes the score gets out of proportion, all of a sudden the nerves go and you start playing again, and this Anoka team's capable of putting up points and playing really well.
Looks like Hopkins might hold for one here. 25 seconds to go, and they're up 41-17. Cross Livingston and now Martin. And now Starks will get them into their offense here. 8 seconds to go. Bates is fouled, and that'll send her to the free throw line as Bugs got over there and bodied her. So 2 shots forthcoming here. They won't need to get a good look at the hoop because they'll get free throws.
And just execution like that, to follow them with the shot, the end of the half running down under 5 seconds. You're in the double bonus. You were having good defense right there. Force Hopkins to take a tough shot instead. 2 free throws to a very good free throw shooter in Ashley Bates.
Second one won't drop. Tornadoes rebound here. Will they have time to get a shot away? Brannon the catch and will not drop. And we've come to halftime here in our second semifinal of the Dick's Sporting Goods Classic. Hopkins all over Anoka in the first half. 42-17 Royals, our halftime score here at the Lindbergh Center. We'll have first half highlights and then your second half of basketball coming up here on 12 Sports.
You always made sure I brushed my teeth.
You told me that smart was cool.
You always told me to dream big. To all of those parents who took the time to make raising their children their most important job, we'd like to say,
thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thanks, Mom and Dad.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
I never thought I'd miss you half as much as I do. It must be love, love, love. It must be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best.
It must be love. It must be hospice.
42-17, Hopkins all over Anoka in the first half as we check out some first half highlights in this one. Obviously the Royals doing the bulk of the highlights here as a steal by O'Toole, and she is able to take it all the way in, so even their post player is able to get a steal and take it all the way. Tornadoes get a hoop here. Not a lot of those, but a nice play there by Torgerson. Able to get the layup. Livingston finishing off a drive that started with a Tornadoes turnover there. And a nice inbound play there. Bulver flashing free and gets the short shot to drop. One of Anoka's better plays right here. A little hesitation dribble, and Adamich goes all the way for the layup. Here's Bates popping a three from the corner. She was quiet early and then just kind of exploded late in the half. Fredenberg, a very tough first half, wound up with 7, but has taken a lot of shots to get there. Bates with 13 and Bulver off the bench with 9 for Hopkins. We will come back with our second half of basketball here. The winner gets Minnetonka in the championship in the Dick's Sporting Goods Holiday Classic. Hopkins 42, Anoka 17. We continue next on 12 Sports.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We get set for second half action. Anoka would like to have a redo and just wipe that first half off the books. And Hopkins going to try not to let up here and just keep going at it hard. Anoka out in the 2-3 zone to start the second half. Holly back out to Starks and then right back to Holly. Mid-air catch there on the alley-oop, but couldn't finish. Would have been spectacular if it went. Probably one, though, that if she catches and comes down with, you're going to have a better chance to convert. A drive into the lane, and O'Toole with the foul there as Brannon went aggressively to the middle. Hopkins did a pretty good job of not fouling in the first half, too, and I honestly think that they've gotten a little bit better at that in the last year or two where, you know, they're still going to be tough defense and scramble, but there were times when they were fouling enough that it was hurting them, and you kind of have to adjust to how it's being called and everything.
Yeah, and that's a skill, to play hard and aggressive and yet not foul. You know, and the thing that hurt them last year when they would do that is, you know, there'd be a team in the bonus with 12 minutes left in a half because of their aggression. So, yeah, absolutely, hats off for the way they've been playing. And that's a great start right there by Anoka coming out, getting to the free throw line. Sam Brennan averages, you know, double figures at 10 points a game. Does a great job being aggressive and knocks the free throws down. And all you're doing right now is, chances are you're not going to come back and win this game. But you want to have something to build off of going into conference play now after this. You're going to have a couple of days off, you know, with the holiday coming up. So you just want to finish this half strong, be aggressive, and learn something about your team.
O'Toole misses, but Starks grabs the rebound, and loser will go into the third place game here in this tournament first also. So they've got another opportunity even here to try and get back into it. Holly's stumbled there and ends up being called for the travel.
Yeah, you're right. Both teams don't get a chance to play tomorrow. Looks like Hopkins versus Minnetonka might be a late conference battle for the championship. And, you know, there's just another no ball fake whatsoever. This Hopkins team is too aggressive. You got to have a nice ball fake there. You telegraph your pass, Jay. They're so long. They're tipping or deflecting almost every pass. You know, and that's one of the things I would have thought, you know, Coach Anto would have addressed at halftime is, hey, you know, let's be careful with the ball. Let's protect the ball a little bit, value it, ball fake.
O'Toole goes to the free throw line after a pretty good block by Fredenberg on the initial attempt there, and then ultimately the Royals got the ball back. And that's another thing, you know, certainly turnovers have been, I would say, by far Anoka's biggest problem, but they've also struggled to keep Hopkins from getting second and third cracks at it. And defensive rebounding is always an issue against this Royals club too. Fredenberg will let it rip. No good there. And Meyer had the rebound briefly but lost it. Now too far for O'Toole.
Well, and one of the reasons it's hard to box Hopkins out, number one, they're big, athletic, strong, tall. But number two, they get so much in transition that the defense is very rarely actually set up. So it's a lot harder to find someone in transition to box out. Beautiful offense right there. Anoka, you know, Ashley Bray right there with the basket. When they've attacked that press and thrown the ball over the top and been aggressive, good things have happened for them. They just got to do that more often, Jay.
I think the complexion of that first half would have been a lot different if they had converted more times when they did beat it early on. Remember the first 5 minutes or so, they had a few layups blocked that, you know, if those go in, it might have been a little bit different anyway.
No, you're right. Well, remember, it was 2-2 for about 4 or 5 minutes to start this game. So they had opportunities to maybe take a lead or set the tone of the game a little bit differently. You're right. And then before you knew it, you know, it was 23-5, and kind of the mood of this game was established.
Hopkins working it around against that zone, and then a trip as Bates went to the middle. Brandon didn't mean to, but got her foot tangled, and she'll be called for her third foul. Bates went to the floor hard, but looks like she's all right. And Wubbin comes in for Livingston.
I hate to see that when a girl goes down and their hands are going down, Jay. When I was a junior at Eden Prairie, I did that. I got up, the whistle blew, there was blood everywhere. My index finger was going the completely wrong way, and my bone and tendon were coming out of the front. So I cringe a little bit anytime I see someone fall and put those hands down. Just wanted to share some of my toughness to the viewers. And
good thing I'm not eating right now. 44-21, across it comes Starks, firing it up there, no good. Fredenberg up for the board. Fredenberg right down the middle, but then Starks steals it away.
I like the idea there. She was aggressive, trying to make a play for a teammate.
Wubbin to the hole, and she is fouled and will shoot free throws.
You know, one thing on that last play, Jordan Meyer, number 33, you know, Fredenberg was driving, and here we're going to just see, you know, Hopkins taking a turnover again, how quickly they convert that into offense. But as a big girl, Jordan Meyer's got to step in there and make that pass a little bit easier for Fredenberg to complete. Instead, Fredenberg did a nice job driving. She drew Jordan Meyer's girl defender to her, but then Jordan Meyer kind of faded away. You want to step in that, Jay, so you catch and have a layup. Instead, it was a turnover, and Hopkins converts it into 2 points.
Wubbin hits 1 out of 2 from the line, 45-21, and the Royals setting up some pressure, and there's an inbound knocked away. It's going to be out of bounds off Anoka, and the Royals will get it. And Anoka didn't do, I mean, trying to, as the point guard, thinking you can just post up and put a hand out. That's not really a good way to inbound that ball.
Well, and the other thing, too, Jay, is that after a made basket, you can run the baseline there. So you run over, maybe make that angle a little bit easier to complete. You know, those are the little things that really Anoka has not done at all today. They're trying to take care of the basketball. And to start the second half, that's their third turnover already. So
Hawley whipping it to Bulver in traffic, and it was blocked. It'll stay Hopkins' ball. I think a good no call there. They had a lot of basketball on that one. Good rotation there by the Royals, but good recovery defensively. Into Hawley and shooting off the catch again. Hawley gets a hand on that one, but it still gets there. But then Bulver takes it away. Here comes Holly off the glass and good.
Beautiful body control by Nia Holly. She got going there, averted the charge. They tried to take a charge. She was able to go slide to the right. A nice finger roll. That's Hopkins basketball at its best. Good turnover on one end and beautiful transition offense on the other.
47-21 Royals. And I'm going to get a foul call, looks like here.
And you can see right there, you saw Fredenberg try to set up to take that charge. And, Nia Holly just does a great job of eluding that and still being able to kiss it off the backboard.
Last foul was on Bates as the Tornadoes will inbound here. And the inbound pass deflected.
The other thing, too, that's frustrating, Jay, is that you got to work to get open against this team. You can't do your normal activity. It's, if it's not working, you got to cut a little harder, set your girl up a little bit, go back door. Again, we can just see bounce pass, just telegraphing your bounce passes. These are things that are changeable that you can correct.
First try block. Martin gets another one up there. Then Starks in traffic, able to finish.
And you saw T.T. Starks. She just cleared about 3 Anoka girls out of the way. That's just sheer effort. And as a coach, Coach Anto, you can live with, if you're just getting beat because another team's better. Watch right here. T.T. Starks, she clears about 3 Anoka girls and just goes right up and finishes. I mean, that's just wanting the basketball more. And you could live with losing to maybe a more talented team, but little things like effort and execution and turnovers, those are things that are really frustrating. They'll drive a head coach nuts.
Lundberg driving. Wubbin gets a piece of that, and here they come again. Holly.
Oh.
Nice move, and she was bumped on the way up. She gave that little pass fake and took it to the hoop. Now, it ended up bouncing off the backward awkwardly, but that was because she was pushed.
Yeah, beautiful. Almost looked like she was going to go fake behind the back, and she got Torgerson turned up a little bit and was able to draw the foul, but how impressive. Nia Holly, 6 foot, only a sophomore. Obviously see why she's being recruited all over the country as well.
That's the thing about this team. You come on any given night, and I think you might have a different impression of who their best player is. And she will get 1 out of 2 to go.
Well, and that's why they're so good and so deep. You go watch Bloomington Kennedy play, Jay. Kanisha Bell is going to be the best player night in and night out. Minnetonka, that's one thing. They got nice depth. You could see a couple different games, but generally Frederickson's going to be their best player. This Hopkins team, like we've talked about all broadcasts, 7-8 girls, that could all just be dominant on any given night, and that's really an advantage. We were talking too at halftime just about what their practices are like, and that's really great when you're back. Your second team can give your first team a game or even beat them, because you're just competing every day. You're competing, and then to come together on game days is almost easier than practice.
Fredenberg back to the free throw line, and jumper won't go. Martin tracks it down. And they don't, I like the way that Hopkins do, they don't let the little things go. If you're doing something incorrectly at practice, they're going to nip it in the bud right away. It isn't, well, it worked anyway. Okay, that's fine. Bulver giving it back. Nia Holly had that one denied. Wubbin comes up with it. Wubbin in some trouble right now and able to dribble her way back out of there with it. Subbing in now for the Royals, Dee Dee Winston, number 5, getting her first court time.
You know what you call that, Jay? You call that attention to detail. And so many programs and coaches and teams, they don't pay attention to detail. And, that's one thing Coach Cosgriff is known for is, like you just said, they don't let little things slide. If there's a wrong pivot or they're not executing a play right, he nips in the butt and they do it until they run it the right way. And then when they get to game time, it shows because they run things, they execute the right way. And you love that. And I know these girls, it can be a pain in the butt for them during practice to go through it, but they all come out of here much better players and better young ladies for it as well.
Martin hits the free throw. One of the things I was most impressed with that I've ever seen at a practice of Coach Kaz's is when they're running some, full court kind of situation, and they grab the ball and they just kind of one-handed a little pass in. There was no defensive pressure or anything. He said that's not the way we inbound the ball, because you know what's going to happen late in a game? You're going to revert to that kind of habit, and you're going to throw it away. And they made him do it right. Pull-up jumper, no good. Tornadoes will get another opportunity at it. Drive down the middle, and a foul call there as Bray will head to the free throw line.
You like to see Anoka being more aggressive here, not settling for jump shots. You know, getting second chances and then driving to the basket. You know, if you're aggressive and you put pressure on the defense, a lot of times referees are going to reward you with free throws, whether or not it was or not.
Bray missing on the foul line here. She'll get one more opportunity, and now subbing in for Hopkins, Evelyn Knox, number 21. And the second one is good for Ashley Bray. So 52-23 lead for Hopkins. Got a lot of their second group in now. Winston's pass tip, but it'll still arrive with Holly. Her jumper won't quite go. Down low, and Lundberg missing, but she is fouled.
You know, and that's kind of the story. Claire Lundberg, you know, a very good basketball player. She's 6'1". That time she caught the ball in the post. Dee Dee Winston, who's 5'4", so about 9 inches different right there. And yeah, you got fouled, but you got to finish that play. If you got someone 9 inches shorter than you, keep the ball up high, be strong, finish that.
Lundberg only 3 points tonight.
Yeah, she's been quiet. You know, came in averaging, you know, over 12 points a game, almost 8 rebounds, over 3 steals. So she kind of jack of all trades, master of none. Not a great three-point shooter, but serviceable from there. But, you know, Lundberg, she's their leading scorer.
Down to the baseline here to Holly, looking to attack, has a little step, goes reverse layup, and she will head to the free throw line. And the whistle goes against Meyer. Free throw is good for Holly.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised, Jay, to see that, you know, I've seen Centennial play a couple times, and to see Hopkins really give it to them and almost double them up as far as on the scoreboard, beat them by over 30 points a game. That was surprising to me to see that outcome.
Dribble picked up here. Knox putting on the pressure, but they get the handoff away. And we're going to have an offensive foul call there on Torgerson.
Well, you talk about attention to detail. You're up 28 points and still have your girls stepping up and taking charges. You know, very impressive. Nice play. And it's almost a lost art of a jump stop, Jay. You drive in, you leave your feet. If you just collect yourself, go straight up and straight down, you avoid any type of charge opportunity there.
Knox's pass knocked away. Ooh, things getting very physical right now. And it will ultimately be a tie-up.
Well, you love the effort. Both teams really laying on the floor, going for it, diving for it. You love to see that.
O'Toole's going to come back in, and Bulver looked like she's a little bit shaken up and is going to head out.
Well, Liz Bulver's heading out here, Jay. You know, she's 6'1", a sophomore. I've been really impressed with how she plays. She's been really active, a lot of offensive rebounds. She's able to score, got nice touch too. I like her game a lot.
A drive and then a foul on the way in. I think it's going to be Knox who will pick it up, and that'll put the Tornadoes in the bonus. And heading to the line here is Olivia Buggs. Free throw good.
That's her first made free throw on the year. You know, and again, you're over 20 points down, but you're in the bonus here. If they can continue to be aggressive, get some stops, you chip away so you can make this, a competitive ball game going down the stretch. At least make it look competitive in the box score.
Holly driving. They don't come up to meet her. Had it slip off her hand, and it is out of bounds on Holly as she just lost it on the way up.
And you look at her face, she knows she just lost a free 2 points right there. The ball just slipped out of her hand. Nice looking move. She had the finish. It just slipped, and that look says it all. That's 2 points that could have gone in the box score.
Bugs nearly traveled there. Then the pass tipped away, and it comes to Winston. Winston floating it off the glass, no good. Knocks the rebound and scores.
Well, and again, Knox, there was 2 Anoka tornadoes right by her, taller ones. She just beat them to the punch right there, and Evelyn Knox, 5'8" sophomore, goes up and gets her first basket of the game.
Lundberg had it chopped away, but a foul call against Nia Holly as she reached in and.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's one. You can see here, there's 3 Anoka players right there, and Knox just beats him right to it.
Lundberg's free throw good, now has 5 points in the game, and Martin will come back in here for Hopkins. And she's been, was injured earlier and then also battling some sickness right now. Hasn't really played a lot.
Well, Claire Lundberg comes into the game 77% from the line, so she's a very good shooter. She's going to be playing at Seton Hall next year, so she's got the game and the ability, the size, and the talent to play major college basketball. Hopkins done a nice job holding her, well below her season average.
Knox went to the hoop and is fouled and will head to the free throw line. A foul goes against Bugs. That'll be her 4th. And free throw rolls in here for Evelyn Knox. Brandon will check back in now for the Tornadoes. And Knox showing well since she came into the game for quick points. Brandon looking inside now, swings it across court right between 2 players there. Not a real good pass.
No. And Brandon had the right idea. She got to the heart of that defense. Come to a jump stop, be sound, be strong with the ball. And she actually had Claire Lundberg spotted up wide open for a corner 3 there. That's a pass. You just got to deliver those. I know, again, easier said than done, but you got to play, quick, but you don't play fast.
Underneath, O'Toole wide open, and Martin gives it up to her for the layup.
Nice unselfish play, Jazz Martin. Under the weather, but made a tremendous pass. Little touch pass right there to Molly O'Toole. Where did Molly's older sister O'Toole go to school, Jay, do you know?
I want to say North Dakota, I believe, but I'm not 100% on that.
She was a very good post player as well. They both, the O'Toole family must just have a knack for, they get that ball down low. They're going to score, and they actually both have really nice shooting touch as well.
Martin hustling out, knocks it out of bounds. It'll be an Anoka throw in from the corner here. 30-point Hopkins lead. They were up by 25 at halftime as Anoka had a very, very difficult first half, to say the least. Lundberg launching it up, and it's good. She's a real good three-point shooter and able to bury it.
Yeah, she shoots almost 40% right there. There she had her feet set, a beautiful drive and kick right there. She sets her feet and can square up. She's going to knock down quite a bit, high percentage of that. And this is why I would like to have seen Anoka do more in the game right there. A beautiful drive by Sarazine right there, kicks it out to Lundberg, and she's going to Seton Hall for a reason because she can put points on the board. She's got 9 now.
Here's Knox hitting the free throw.
Knox has come in and really kind of sparked this second unit, if you will, for Hopkins. She's been very active, a couple of quick baskets, been all over the floor on defense as well.
Very quick feet defensively.
Yep.
And quick hands are good, but quick feet maybe even better as a defensive player.
Yeah, she really moved, and she, she's not that tall, but she's got, excellent ball skills and actually can rebound very well.
Fredenberg has it, and they're going to end up taking a timeout. Martin Martin was so intent on getting the fast break going there that she didn't really bend all the way down for that ball and allowed Fredenberg a chance to grab it back.
You know, and as small of a play as that is, you know, Scott Antel's got to love that. You know, one of his senior leaders, and Kira Fredenberg, down 30 is still getting on the floor with 8 minutes. You know, those are the little things I think that you can build on in this game. And I'm sure that's what he's telling his girls is let's go out with a boom here. Let's play the way we know how to play. Let's you know, build on this and take something out of this tournament that we can then process and build off of going into, you know, a difficult Northwest Suburban Conference play.
And I guess if you want to, you know, use the look on the bright side kind of thing, chances are they're not going to have that bad of a half the whole rest of the year. You say, okay, we got that out of our system a little bit.
Yep.
Lundberg, a little turnaround inside and hits.
Well, and now she's starting to play like I expected her to play from the beginning. That time, very well poised. She caught that ball, kind of let the defense fly by, able to gather herself and knock it down. Look at that beautiful move, too. Dee Winston, 5'4". It doesn't matter. She got right to the heart of that, had a nice little Chris Paul floater.
Lundberg cutting free, and Martin stuffs that attempt. Here comes Livingston. Knox going to get up another quick shot. She is instant offense here today.
Yeah, 8 quick points. She's only played about 5 or 6 minutes, too, in this game, and she's been really effective. She's got great ability to just get open and get her shot off against bigger, taller defenders, too.
Fredenberg posting it up, trying to go up inside, and will get free throws. Livingston was on her, and then coming over to help was Winston. It is going to be Livingston who will pick up the foul.
You know, either way, Anoka's at least being aggressive, Jay. They're not settling for bad outside shots. Everything seems to be getting down into the paint where at least they are being active and putting pressure on Hopkins defense, getting to the free throw line, and you like to see that.
Although I have to admit on that one, I'm not sure I really like rewarding a player who just basically lunges into you.
No. But you know what? That's when you're aggressive and you put pressure on the defense, you force the referee to make a call. And a lot of times they'll award you just for being aggressive and taking that shot. You know what I mean? And
yep.
It's not always right, and it might not always be the right call, but more than likely, you know, you want to find out. At least be aggressive and make that referee make that call.
Knox over to O'Toole, putting it on the deck on the baseline. Had it blocked on the way up, and then taken away by Fredenberg. Knox. Going to be a travel call on. Oof. I don't blame Fredenberg for being upset. Knox was all over her there.
You know, but one thing too, Jay, with especially in girls basketball, you see these girls, a lot of times they hold that ball up over their head. You got to be in a triple threat, so you got your balance right there. She lost her balance. If you're in a triple threat there where you got your balance, and right there, you know, if you're seeing the ball, that's got to be a steal going the other way.
And a tie-up here is on the drive there for Hopkins with Sierra Bagstead, had it knocked free. And back in you see for the Tornadoes is Torgerson. Fredenberg will get a breather. Long inbound comes out to Knox. We've still got a lot of time to go here. It kind of feels like we're winding down, but there's still 7 minutes left. Here's Martin. Nice spin move and scores it.
That's a great move right there. You get the ball, 6'3" post player. She gives a little fake to her left, comes back over her left shoulder to her right hand. That's why she's getting some major looks. You see how she used her body right there? Didn't fade away. It was power going to the basket. You know, as she gets older and puts on a little bit more strength and some weight there, she's really going to be an unstoppable force. We've seen her really impact this game more defensively, having quite a few blocks than we have offense.
And there's a three nailed by Naomi Torgerson for Anoka, so 67-39.
She's had a nice game since she's come in today, too.
Martin, nice unselfish pass, high post, and O'Toole nails it.
You know, just having Martin down low where she draws attention, you know, as a defender, you have a tendency to turn, face the ball, you know, and very unselfish play right there. She finds the open jumper.
Back out, Bray is open for a three, and she hits. Anoka getting some better looks here later as the game goes, and they're showing an ability to hit shots.
Yeah, that's just her third three-pointer on the year, but she was 2 for 6 coming in, so very capable of knocking that down. There was no doubt about that one.
Across it comes, and O'Toole's going to take a three, and that one looked good. It was in and out, and then the rebound is put back by Bagstead.
Yeah, Molly O'Toole right there, you know, you don't think of her as having that touch, but she does have the nice touch. She's got that range, and that ball was halfway down. She should get a point just for being close.
Nice dump down, good post up by Bray, layup good, assist Brannon.
Yeah, nice looking seal right there. Ashley Bray does a great job holding that defender off, and a great bounce pass to her. She just catch and score.
Knox making a bid for some more playing time with her late game offense and defense.
Yeah, she's in double figures with 10 points already on the afternoon. Really without any playing time in the first half, too.
There's a runner put up and in, and as slow a start as we had offensively in this game, by the end we were going to be up there in high point total.
Well, you got to figure, too, if Hopkins had played their starters, they could probably reach close to 100 here this afternoon.
Martin, the rebound, the putback, and one.
You know, that's disheartening. You play good defense, you get a girl to miss a shot. You know, you just got to get a body, especially on Martin. She's 6'3". You got to know where she is. And as tall as she is, too, if you're going to foul them, you know, make sure they can't get that shot off and have a three-point play potential.
Lundberg picked up the foul there, so Jazz Martin to the free throw line here. And in and out with that one. So Martin is nearing double figures here after she didn't play a whole lot earlier in the game either. Again, battling some illness. Wide open for the jumper here, and it bounces and drops for Meyer.
Yeah, you like the way Anoka's played offensively here, Jay, in the second half. Just a lot more fluid, you know, motion on offense, confidence, attacking the basket, driving and kicking to open teammates, knocking down jump shots too. Much more confidence and smoothness in their offensive, at least their half-court offense.
As you pointed out, though, let's be honest, they're not going against the first team anymore, too, and that's part of the reason.
Yep.
Brandon will pick up the foul right there, and she's going to foul out, and Winston will go to the free throw line. Coming in a moment ago for the first time, Bianca Williams, number 20 for Hopkins.
But, you know, Jay, you know, even Anoka losing today, they can take this knowing, hey, we've probably played the state's best or one of them. You know, so when they do meet against Centennial down the road or Champlain Park or Brooklyn Center or Park Center, excuse me, you know, Osseo, those schools, they know they've been there and they've done that. So, you know, even though they're going to lose for the second time this month to Hopkins, they can take that experience knowing that, hey, we can play against anyone. We've already done it twice against Hopkins.
Ray driving, got their feet tangled a little. Winston sending it ahead. And it's going to be out of bounds off the leg of Hopkins' Shania Rogers, who's checked in number 30. .4:10 to go here, 76-48. Hopkins with the lead. Shot jacked up there, and that one, that's kind of hard to do. I don't know how she did that. Hit behind the backboard there.
And it wasn't a baseline shot either. That was from a wing. So that's got to be worth something.
Hit that basket support, and it fell straight down. It was a interesting one there from Sarrazin. So Hopkins will inbound.
When she came in on the year shooting about 47%, so usually a pretty accurate shooter.
Winston missing there, and for Anoka to grab that rebound was Miranda Phipps, number 13. Phipps looking inside, and layup is good. And a free throw coming, too, for Taylor Bray, who's come in, number 50.
Well, she's only a ninth grader. She's got nice size. Look at that power. Gets the ball on the baseline. She muscles right through. You know, and it's another positive for something like this. You get down, you get a chance to maybe get some of your younger girls in and get some experience. And, hey, you get a couple of baskets against Hopkins, you really can take that into your next games and build some confidence. No question about it.
Michaela Chandler, 25, checking in now for Hopkins as well. Knox gives it up to, here's Chandler, and then Rogers goes top with it. And a near steal there by Adamich. Hopkins really running through their offense nicely here. That's what coaches like to see. Probably at this point in the game, they'd like to see this even more than a nice shot like that by Knox, just to see, okay, were they paying attention in practice? Are they running these things in their JV game so they can do it when they get out here?
Well, and you always get, it's tough at this point when you've got a big lead. You can see a nice move right there by Olivia Buggs. But, you know, you want to take time off. You want to, you know, but you don't want to lose your aggressiveness either. There's a fine combination, you know, meeting in the middle of being aggressive, but also being patient, taking time off the clock. And they've done a really nice job of good spacing, good ball movement. And it's funny how when you do that, driving lanes just open up.
78-53 our score here as they drive to the hoop, and we're going to get a foul call on free throws upcoming for Bagstead. So it'll be Bagstead to the free throw line here.
Well, what do you think about the championship matchup tomorrow, Minnetonka Hopkins? A couple of top 7 teams in the state of Minnesota.
Definitely going to be an interesting one. They've obviously had a lot of great matchups. Hopkins always still seems to kind of have their number, though, even when Minnetonka has some of their better teams. But they're definitely a very talented group. Inside it comes. Bray, nice little drop back. Oops, that went off the side of the window, though, from Torgerson. And then a tie up.
That was nice basketball, though. Nice give and go inside to Taylor Bray. And Torgerson had a nice look there. Beautiful basketball, just didn't knock the shot down.
On the run, shot won't drop. Another opportunity and a foul drawn there as heading to the line will be Phipps.
When Phipps has come in, she's been aggressive, you know, since she's gotten into the game. A couple of nice drives to the basket. She followed her own miss with an offensive rebound, and she's going to get rewarded with a couple of free throws. Hasn't attempted any on the year, so it'll be her first 2.
First one will not drop. Anoka's really excited about the freshman group they've got too. Some of them on the varsity already. I was talking to Coach briefly before the game about, you know, just the kind of the resurgence in their program, because he was at Centennial for a long time, and he saw that they went from being quite strong to some lean years, and then now really getting back to where they kind of restock the cupboard, if you will.
Yep. Ooh.
Knox was almost out of bounds, but the referee was right there. He probably could have seen it if he was.
You know, sometimes too, Jay, all it takes is, you know, one good team for a program to have success, and all of a sudden you get the youth program excited again, and people see how fun that is. They want to be a part of it. They work harder. They might have an older sister on the program that did well, and so it's funny how one good year can really jumpstart and almost turn around the momentum, if you will, of a whole program.
Yeah, and a couple years back they made the state tournament with a not particularly good record, and you know they were in a rather easy section compared to the rest in 4A, but they took advantage of it to their credit, and that probably really helped to jumpstart it, I think.
Yep. You know, another thing too is you know, success breeds success. You win a couple of big games, you like how that feels, and all of a sudden you're more amped and more willing to put in the work in the off season or weight room or whatever it might be.
Miss inside there. Good inbound play, but Bagstead rushed that shot a little bit, and then good hustle by Williams, but couldn't keep it in play as she tried to knock it loose. Bray kicking it back out. Also in there now, 21, Kylie Block for Anoka, and nice pass, and Taylor Bray will go back to the free throw line.
Yeah, Kylie Block, a sophomore, she's a great looking pass. Got to the middle, lobbed it up to Taylor Bray. Taylor Bray has not missed a shot yet on the season, and because that was fouled, that won't count as a shot attempt either. I think I might have jinxed her.
Yeah, missed the free throw there again. So subbing in now for Hopkins. They've just about used everybody. Madison Zemlicka, number 35, will come in. And hits the second one. So Bray with 4 points now. And 80-54 our score. Strong drive, but not quite able to finish there, and rebounded by Block. Back the other way, Phipps a shot, no good. Rebound putback is good, and converting there was Zimmer.
Well, again, good things happen when you attack right there. They attack in transition, miss the layup, you know, but giving Hopkins a little dose of their own medicine, getting an offensive rebound with a putback.
We go under a minute to play, 80-56. Hopkins dominated the first half and looking strong throughout, not maintaining that big a margin, obviously with all the subbing, but drive to the hoop, scoop layup will not go. And a strong drive and finish there by Bianca Williams. Gets the layup to go, and then they go up 82-56. Open underneath for the layup, Brittany Bongartz, another of those freshmen.
Yeah, that was freshman to freshman. Taylor Bray, great pass to Brittany Bongartz. 6'2", she's got great size, good hands, camps out right in front of the basket. And it's always nice to get a basket as a freshman, get some experience.
And Hopkins cruises home to the victory here, 82-58 over Anoka. And Ryan, that first half defensive pressure was really the key to this one. And the second half, you know, just kind of stayed where we were. We saw Anoka get a little bit better in that second half, but Hopkins obviously subbing a lot too.
Yeah, I thought the key, Jay, was, you know, and it always is against Hopkins, is handling their pressure. You know, don't create turnovers. Don't let them get going in transition. And really, it couldn't have been a worse first half for Anoka, as they had to have had in the 20s as far as number of turnovers, a lot of them unforced, you know, just telegraphing their passes. And, you know, Hopkins gets out, and they, you know, we talked about it in that first half. They convert a turnover into baskets and points quicker than any team, you know, that I've seen this year so far. So, obviously, they dug themselves a pretty deep hole, and you know, there are not too many times as Hopkins can give up a 30-point, 25-point lead at halftime.
13 in the game for Bates, 12 off the bench for Knox, and also in double figures O'Toole and Martin with 10 apiece for the Royals, who moved to 8-2. They'll go on to play Minnetonka for the championship here on Saturday at the Dick's Sporting Goods Holiday Classic, and it will be Anoka and Kennedy for third place. We hope you've enjoyed the action here from the Lindbergh Center. For Ryan Iverson and all of our 12 Sports crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from Hopkins.